Hi everyone, Jack Bluhm here, and we are talking about this stencil finally. Sorry if my voice is a little bit raspy and coughy, but I am feeling much better, just don't sound much better. So stencils is what we're talking about. Actually, they're called masks, and this is from Water and Dotted Lines Decorative Masks. And I had the last video I did this one, which is the rocks or the ocean waves. And then today I am showing you a little something with this stripe, dotted stripe. And we're also using this paper pack, which is the Beautiful Ordinary Life Designer Series paper. So I just pulled in all of the colors that were in this paper pack and decided, there's a couple more, actually there's 3 more over here, decided which paper I wanted to use and what colors. And I think everybody knows how to stamp with this, but I want to show you just on my scratch paper. Take your ink, get this out of the way. Oop, oop, oop. Oh, what happened? Something happened. I forgot to check. I'm really batting 1,000 today. I forgot to check to make sure that I was on live. Hold on 1 second. Let me get this out of the way and this up. And I'm just going to use my scratch paper, but if I had a circle or something, I would tape it down either underneath of it or across the top of it. And then what you also can do is tape down your stencil, but we're just going to wing it and just do a little bit right here. It's super easy. What is up with my computer? It doesn't want to find Facebook. Let's try this again. Come on. Somebody tell me if I'm live. Now my printer, or my computer has decided to just not work. Okay, well, we'll close it down and reopen it and see if we can't get this show on the road. I was out picking strawberries this morning with my husband, and we picked a whole flat. Took a little while because we were both not, feeling a little under the weather, but we got her done. And then later today we'll take care of them. Okay. Sorry, I know this is like waiting for paint to dry. Well, while I am waiting for the paint to dry, so to say, this is the POM product of the month for June. Get it while you can. Once you hit $75 on your order, you can order it for $5. It's here while it lasts, and then it's gone. Started in December, and I think the only 2 that are left currently right now are May and June. May was a paper pack. Okay, my computer is just, let me see, anybody out there? Not that I can see. Say hi if you're out there. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Really cute stamp set though. Seems like each one just gets a little better, And it's nice that they've had a variety. Paper, stamps, dies, all those good things. Okay, come on. What is wrong with you? Okay, I'm going to totally close it down. It does feel really warm. All right, close. Come on. Close, close, close. All right, one last time, and we'll just hope for the best. Facebook, okay. Oh my goodness. All right, well, I guess we're just gonna wing it and hopefully try and stay within the screen, so to say. I don't know what's going on with my computer. All right, let's see. Well, we're pretty good. All right. So again, paper behind, get a little ink. Just do it where you can see it. Just put it on. If you want, you can look. See if you need some more. This is kind of a light color. I'll do it a little darker so you can see it. Oh, I like to close up my inks, get stuff out of the way. This is Pool Party. And there we go. You can do dots. And then to wipe it off, I usually pull it onto my glass surface, so that way I can kind of wipe it down and then just stick it to dry. All right, enough of that. It's pretty basic, and you end up with this. I did a little darker color so you could see it. So the next thing I wanted to show you, don't know why I pulled that out of the way, was that we have watercolor pencils. And there's 2 different packs. What I like is that on them, they show you what the color is. It says it right on the pencil. So it's really nice to mix and match and put them back where they belong. If you want item numbers, let me know. They're right there and right there. I'll just hold that still for a minute so you can take a screenshot. Okay. So I am going to use the black so that way you can see it. So this is just another way to use this. And I need a little bit of water. Just got to spray water here. I've got my little tray. I'm going to wet my little brush. Okay. And then, okay, so there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can color in your line and then watercolor over the top of it to blend it out, right? But did you know that you can just take your wet brush to the color and pull some color onto there, and then you can just go around like you're painting. You get a little bit more control, a little bit smoother. You can put as little or as much as you want. And that's one way to add, sorry if my fingers are a little bit strawberry-ish yet. And then you can see that, okay? So that's one thing you can do that you might not have thought of before. Okay. And then I also want to show you, I'm going to take this circle and I wanted to show you whatever watercolor brushes you have. I know we have one that's, I can't find it right now. It's like a big flared out like this. Nice big one, but I can't find it, so we'll use this. So the other thing you can do to make a wash on your background is you can push on your ink pad. Push on your ink pad. Get some color in there. Spray it a little bit with water and just kind of make yourself a puddle. And again, you don't want it too wet, and just watercolor yourself a little background. Okay, and I have something we're going to put on here, and I want to show you a couple techniques. So this is one, and you can make it as dark or as light as you want. You can vary it up. You add more water, you get more dilution of your color, not as saturated. And then I like to tell people, don't just close this up, because this water will dilute it a little bit. So I just like to wipe it out, okay, with a paper towel. So I'm going to give that a second to dry. Again, I'm just putting it in my water and cleaning off my brush so it's nice and clean. And the other thing I wanted to show you is this little guy. This little guy, I just watercolored. Same as I showed you on here. I just took the black, so that way it wasn't super black, and I just colored him in, okay? But I wanted to show you how I did this, and I thought that I would do it with some yellow, okay? So it's kind of similar. You want strong color along your edge. So I'm going to get some nice strong color along the edge. I'm just going to kind of put that down. Okay. And then every time I go out from it, it's getting lighter and lighter. And then you can even go back and add a little water and you can do some little stippling or little dots of color. And this was not a good choice because it's not nearly dark enough. But you can just blend it out to whatever you want. And hopefully you can see that. It starts out darker and just, you know, kind of gets lighter as you go. Let me try. Again, I'm going to clean off my brush. I'm going to try it with the black so I can kind of show you. Maybe this will look a little better. Put that guy there for reference. So I just picked up some black and I kind of went along the edge. And then I just kind of stippled it. Get a little bit more water and kind of dilute that out from the edge. You don't want to add a lot of water, but you need a little bit of water for it to move. And that's kind of the way that I did this guy. And I know it doesn't look quite the same. Okay. So then we can go and put this guy on here. And he kind of has both of those colors. He's kind of grounded. Let's put just a little bit more of the blue down at the bottom. See if I can get just a little bit. So we need just a little bit more. There we go. I don't know why I'm getting that weird puddle. Okay. Again, sorry, I sound really bad. I feel fine. Just sound really bad. All right, so there's our little guy onto there. And always wash off your brush. The other thing I like to do is make sure that you put your point back together so it's not flared out. That way when you go and close it with your cap, you're not getting any of those brush pieces pushed the other way and stuck the other way. So there's a little guy that we can maybe have a bonus card with. And let me show you a couple of other ideas. So here's another card that I did. And this is just the archway. So again, it's got the black border around. It's got the dots just kind of as a grounding point for my koala. And then I brushed the blue, like I showed you on here, just a wash. Mixed in my two colors. This is Pool Party cardstock, and this is that DSP from that beautiful Ordinary Life. And this is colored pencil again, and I just colored it in, and then I used the brush to fade it out. So kind of like in school, you go around the edges dark, you lightly do the center, and then when you're doing the watercolor brush, start with your center so it stays light, and then go to your edges and pull it forward. Same thing right here. I would do that first and then go down. Okay. If you need any help with that, let me know. And then another one that I did. So on this one, I just used it as a grounding, the stencil. This one, I just used it as my background. And then I added to my background with this little stamp to make this banner. And then I colored this in the same way, added some gems. Oh, and here's something else. I don't know if you can see, but I like to do mine where you can see, hi Pauline, that this is raised, but this is flat. And then this is flat, but this is raised. So I like to half and half stuff. So he is down flat, but his head and ears are raised. So half and half. And that just gives you a little more depth and whatnot. So there's card number 2. And this will be a bonus card number 3. I hope that you will try it. Let's see. I did color a couple more little pieces. There's that one. I think that's all 4 of them. Yeah, that's all 4 of them. And a lot of times I will jot down what colors I used. So the koala is Calypso Coral, basic gray, and a little bit of black for his nose. I pulled it off kind of like how I did on here from the pencil so it wasn't too dark. Okay. And this little guy is Pecan Pie, basic gray, Calypso Coral, and crushed curry. And then, so there's something interesting about coloring these guys in. You can wash the color. Let me see if I can. I don't think this piece is big enough. You can make swirls, if you will. Let's see, what's a good color to use that you can see. Let's just do a Calypso Coral. So on this guy, I went around the outline, you know, and put that on heavy. But then when I filled in the field, and hopefully I'm on camera, sort of, I just kind of made circles. Okay. And this is not dark enough, so I'm going to exaggerate my circles with the point. Usually I will flatten out the side of the pencil. I can still go along and get a sharp edge, but then because that side is flat, it gives you a better coloring, okay? And the more that you go over this, the more it will blend it out. But what I wanted was that curly look, okay? But then to keep that curly look when you wet it is, so let's see. So in here where he's curly, I just kind of left it a little bit curly. I just let it blend a little bit. And if I needed to pull some from the edge, then I could. Let me see if you can see that. So see how it's a little more circly. So in other words, I don't straighten it out by doing this. I just kind of work with the swirls. And if I need to blend that in a little bit more, you see how it moves it around? So you can do extra swirls and get that to look more like fur. So just play with your pencils. You don't have to go all the way over it flat because it's just going to flatten it out and pull the colors in. Like on this one, I did darker where these are, and then I went around the outer edge. But then when I pulled, I just lightly colored in here. So I lightly blended this and just barely pulled some of those edges around. Just depends on what look you want. If you want it to look smooth or if you want it to have a little bit more. So like under his chin, instead of just going like this, because that would flatten it out, I just went like this. I hope that makes sense. Somebody tell me if that makes sense. So that's what I have today. It's a little bit short and sweet. Sorry about that. And as I always do you like number 1, number 2, or are you going to like number 3? I hope you have a wonderful day and an awesome weekend. I hope you'll come back next Friday to watch some more. I'm not sure what I'll be doing next Friday. If you have something in mind you'd like to see, put it in the comments. And any of questions that you have, leave those in the comments, and I'd be happy to get back to you. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great time this weekend. Bye now.